So, you're gonna prep to go to Agian. Is everybody in agreement?
Yeah, that's Prava's priority number one.
Aiden, how about you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so everybody's gonna start prepping the ship, getting everything together. But Aiden, as you've probably gone back to like Zerus to get your stuff and get ready, Moana is waiting for you. You know she's waiting for you because she always sits in the same chair every single time.
What is she, like my mom or something?
Yeah, you can think of her like she's sitting in a chair like a disgruntled mum, like where have you been, young man, sort of deal.
Oh, this never ends well.
Are you okay?
Last I check, yes. Why? What did you hear?
Well, I didn't hear anything. I've just noticed. You've been looking at dog tags a lot recently.
Yeah, well, you know, last mission went a bit rougher than I expected, so I've been just reminiscing lately.
You do know that they're not the same people, right?
Sorry, can this wait? We've kinda got some stuff going on. You probably noticed on TV, but that last mission drew a lot of attention, and I'm kind of busy with other things right now.
Aiden, it's just us here. This feels just like the time when you first joined the company, though. She says she stands up from the chair.
You really wanna force this, huh? Aiden takes a seat down. Why are you doing this now?
Because I feel like you need to talk. I've been around you enough to know when things are getting serious. So, I feel like we need this talk. Just like after your first mission. Just like when we lost Rex.
When she says that, he takes the necklace of dog tags around his neck and removes it and puts it on the table. Last mission didn't exactly go smoothly as it seemed on TV. Shocker, I know. When is our work ever easy, right?
True.
I lost my arm. Again. Still stings a bit, but it should heal. Broke every rule in the book and left my team behind because I couldn't trust them. Whether it's, you know, they're not like us. They're different. I mean, Prava, you know him, the bug guy, chased after an old friend without checking for traps, ambushes, or, you know, last mission when he threw himself in front of a mob of enemies ready to rip him apart. That freaked me out. Or Kuzon, jumping in front of a giant armored mech. Thank God for those bullets we got from Fraxus. Should have seen it. Took that fucking mech almost... took its head almost clean in half. Those bullets were amazing, by the way. Or what about Thiveron? You know, keeps his head on a swivel, but that didn't count for much last mission when we were when we were in 0G. He's blind, you know. When I saw Jacko waiting for us in that ship, I knew it. I know I would have to add another tag to the necklace. Sure enough, he was waiting for us in a room filled with fucking booby traps. And he was about to pounce on them, so I was trying to pry him off the rest of the guys. He sure did a number on me, you know. Damn asshole doesn't know how to hold back.
You can see Moana simply letting you speak for the entire process. And she gives a small nod before finally speaking up. Well, they are not mercenaries. We've left plenty of people behind before. As much as we hated it, it was always the mission. It was always... well... the mission always had to be done. Even if it meant leaving someone behind. She picks up Rex's tag from the pile you have at that point. They wouldn't care about the mission. They would care about the person that was in trouble, there and then. And I feel like you're panicking so much because just like our last team, you're starting to like them. It's becoming less of a job for you.
I don't know about that. I'm not gonna let anybody else get sacrificed, not anymore. I've seen enough of that.
Fair enough. and she's gonna stand up and give you a small pat on the head. It brings you back to almost the first time that you were ever there. Despite what Moana is, she is older than you, and when you joined the team back in the day, she much more or less looked after you and taught you the ropes.
And I'm
she
gonna
used to do
tell
this
her
often.
exactly what I told her the first time she did that. You better remove the arm or I'm gonna break it.
Well, you can still try if you want. Then she's smiling. Go on. Go off and play with your friends.
So, speaking of playing around, how are things with Z?
Oh, that? Everything's going fine. By the way, I suspect at this point, Prava, you're probably having a conversation with Z at some place just to make it all that more perfect. Just like, what's going on, Buzz?
Exactly.
You know, Prava is a lot more snoopy than you give him credit for. He is gonna find out all the juicy details one way or another.
I will essentially tell you both what information you gather as they both start to explain to you. Essentially, Z's only ports of call being, well, there's like small noodle shop and also Zero Risk. Somehow they got Moana and Z to keep coming eating at her place, and over time that's how the relationship developed. And over time they got together, and not exactly sexual. After all, that sort of step with a succubus is apparently a bit difficult.
After hearing out, I'm gonna say, by the way, we might need to beef up security soon. If we're gonna keep being in the spotlight this much, it's eventually gonna become an issue.
She gives a nod before starting to head off to do her own thing. Anyway, enjoy whatever you're going to be doing. Make sure you keep in touch.
Yes, Mom.
I'm not that old yet. She says with a small bit of venom before heading off towards the kitchen. Okay, so as everybody's starting to gather up to prepare to leave in the docks, you do notice that there are several posters across the walls, like advertising something as you go past. There seems to be some sort of magical parade and emporium coming soon.
Oh, you mean the stuff that Kuzon doesn't believe in?
He believes in it now. He's seen enough stuff. He's still just like skeptical though.
Still skeptical. Someone throws a fireball. I could do that.
Just give me some petrol. I'll show you a fireball.
So yeah, essentially that's what you see. You see like posters everywhere advertising it, like coming soon. Don't know exactly when. Don't know. Maybe it will appear as soon as you come back. Who knows?
That reminds me, we still have that ticket for the feast from the Idari. How much time has passed? Is that thing gonna be on soon?
A few months have passed, so yeah, probably gonna be. I'll be honest with you. It's there until you arrive there and decide to go.
Ah, gotcha.
I'm not gonna do strict time frame, given the journeys back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's Kuzon doing right now? Is he nervous a bit? Is he in the cockpit? Where is he?
He's just keeping himself busy. He's basically in his workshop, just working on a project to just pass the time. He has like the remains of one of the loader bots disassembled right now, and he's reassembling it.
Oswald is leaning over you as you work. He goes, "Poor Fred," and you see your little prog turn into a gravestone.
Fred's not dead. I'm just, making some upgrades, some changes. Fred'll be back.
You see your new little AI friend who's still basically a kid. You just see on your work screens, you see basically an X, two X's symbolizing dead.
You guys are all so dramatic. I'm basically what I want to do, and it's up to you to figure out how it affects it. I already calculated the cost, but I'm turning Fred into a mule style robot.
I see.
I'm turning him into one of those four-legged robots with 18 bulk that I can ride around on.
I would believe if you can do that. If you want to calculate the cost, essentially it'll take 20% off. since
Oh, nice.
this is a original loader bot anyway. Like, he's meant to carry things, and a mule is meant to carry things. You're essentially repurposing him. They're going to watch you, but the AI is essentially jumping all along the ship as you guys get ready to fly off. And Aiden, did you want to make a piloting check to see how fast you can go? And also 1d6 for your drift drive. Your little AI is watching you as you're preparing to lift off, by the way.
I'm gonna show it some sweet ass moves.
It's doing like eyes like this on the screen all the time.
I'm
Apparently
gonna
it's accessed Prava's social media too much.
I'm gonna teach it how to do sick piloting moves, and I'm gonna tell it the most important thing for a pilot is guts and feeling. As I slam on the fucking gas and probably get another fucking violation.
You just see.
As soon as I
20
hear the parking violation come in, I'm gonna immediately do a barrel roll because I know I've already been punished, so fuck it, let's style.
That contradicts with the lesson Prava taught her. How the most important things is like a life form are like consideration and.
I just want to imagine like Kuzon like shows up on the screen and it's like, Aiden, you made me drop Fred all over the place.
Who he hears in the background is poor Fred from Oz. He's like picking up pieces. He's like. Aiden, you are going to be so good at piloting. You're going to make an Akiton in only 2 days.
Nice.
You caught Akiton just on the right edge. Like, it's right there.
Kuzon's like, wow, Aiden, you're really in a rush to get to Akiton, huh?
Yeah. I really want to see what happened with it after, you know, everything.
I have a feeling that Aiden also wants to get revenge on Kuzon for his family situation. I'm not sure.
Nah. I'm just there because I'm worried what, you know, the Jackal has done to the place with his fucking terrorists and bullshit. It has nothing to do with the fact that I want to embarrass and humiliate Kuzon the way he did me. I wouldn't do that. That wouldn't be a morally right thing to do.
Exactly.
Well,
we can get there faster through here.
We have our own car now. We don't have to argue with the locals about getting a car.
That's true.
On the ship on the way,
Mhm.
Prava is practicing with his new symbiote friend. He thinks that like the Assassin's Creed style hidden blade is like pretty cool, but teaching it how to hold a camera would be more useful to Prava's day-to-day life. So he's trying to teach the symbiote how to operate a phone.
Mm-hmm. You can start getting also small bits of feelings from it as well. And as you feel like in your body, you can see that it's getting more integrated with your arm at this point, because you can see the ligaments that connect your chitin and the like. They've got some silver streaks in them at this point, connecting you to your body. And you can start having feelings from the symbiote now, like its general mood.
I'm assuming we have like some scrap star metal around. Probably would have tried to feed it star metal at some point, since they.
You probably like snuck a bit away from Kuzon's shop and feed it like little shards. It's fine. We'll just
Grow up and be a strong boy.
Kuzon would be really mad if we found out you were eating his star metal.
Soon enough, you rip up through the drift, coming above Akiton. You can see some small space battles happening overhead, left and right. These are mainly condensed skirmishes of different companies vying for control, mercenary outfits and the like. But you do see one that's, well, a ship that's been left alone by everything. It seems to be an Indari-based ship. You can see from the slick design.
Oh yeah, we sent these guys here, didn't we? Well, it's kind of sent. We encouraged them to come here.
Encouraged, like leaking classified info to the entire Pact Worlds. Yeah,
And
encouraged.
you know, changing the entire PMC economy on the planet and probably changing the entire eco-political, well, nature of the Pact Worlds, but you know.
Huh. The airspace here is a little more dangerous than I remember. Should we be worried about this?
It's normal.
Right, you can.
I used to watch these space battles from my hole in the ground back in Booster City.
Can we just agree that Booster City is a great name for any place?
It is. It's a very nice name, isn't it? And as you fly towards the city, you see the telltale glow of Booster City. You see the different factories, the fact that the city is built into a plateau of itself. Just off to the corner, you still see the dust clouds and the dust storms that are hitting against the city and the crater below.
I want to imagine that we're like moving. Everybody's like staring at the city and the lights and everything like that, and Kuzon just looks like, oh, my sinkhole.
Look at that piece of shit.
Lots of good stuff fell into that sinkhole.
Kuzon, this is where you come from? Where do you live? Can you show me?
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that direction. It's still shitty no matter what, but in that direction. Oh god.
I'm gonna open up my communicator. Do I have a number to call them? I assume so.
Yes, you do.
You see Kuzon like his finger, like he has his one hand on the wheel and he's like hesitantly hovering his hand over like the phone receiver.
Hmm.
Okay. And I just I punched the numbers into it and dial them.
Now, you haven't spoken directly to them yet, since you never did call. I suspect that's because Kuzon was nervous as hell.
Yeah.
And as you do, one particular voice picks up. Hello?
Oh, hey. I'll turn like the camera on or whatever.
Yeah, as you turn the camera on, the camera's still not on the other side. It's like, this thing's a bit broken. Who's this?
It's Kuzon.
Kuzon? Who?
The only
Hang on.
guy who doesn't know.
He's like, hang on. He's like, hugs over. It's like, and you hear from background, anyone who Kuzon? Oh, you kid, get out. Oh, fine, here. And you hear on the other side, Kuzon?
Yeah. It's me.
You're here.
Yeah, sorry I'm late. I'm sure you saw the news. Lots of exciting, weird stuff.
You gotta come down to the old woman. Hurry, quickly.
Where's that? I used to know where all of the little holes in the ground were, but it's been so long.
Yes, of course. Go the crater, and it's docking bay 23.
Wait, is there enough space for their ship?
Yes, plenty of space.
Oh, all right. We'll be there soon.
Good. See you soon. And you hear he's excited. Hang up. He sounds much more excited than you would expect from, well, an educated with a dishonored family member.
Yeah. I wonder.
See, Kuzon, it's not as bad as you thought, man.
You're gonna know after you see the politics of these Warrens. Not as good as you think it'll be.
Relax, man. You're famous, right? I mean, look at everything that happened on the Dari and now with the new ship. They know you're famous, rich. I'm pretty sure they basically just want a piece of you. They'll probably try to butter you up, you know?
I'll happily do what I can to help out my own kids, but there's gonna be questions about why I haven't met up to my obligations. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll park the ship and well, I guess we'll park the ship because we're parking the ship inside of where he said, right? Like the whole ship.
If you want to.
Yeah. And then
you would know from experience. You don't want to park it in the crater. There's like scavengers. You probably some of your old clan there as well, taking apart whatever's in there.
Yeah. So I'll
But as
follow
you do,
their advice there.
as you do fly over, you see just how much of this city had fallen into this massive crater. The city used to be almost 3 times as big, and it just fell in, crumbled to scrap and dust.
Is it in worse condition than when I last saw it?
No, exactly. Some of the buildings close to the crater have been cold, and it's been shored up. So you're pretty sure the rest of it won't fall in. But seeing it from this angle, it looks much worse than when you're on the ground. You just see the immenseness of the piles of scrap and old buildings just destroyed. And that's where you're actually going, is some of the old metro tunnels, which have been seemingly converted into makeshift docks. For lower classes, of course, but
yeah, it's like this used to be the only way that you could see a video game console. I point at like the remains of like a building. It's like you'd hope for some rich asshole in his penthouse suite to drop it when his house fell in and it didn't get smashed. I had a few like game devices with cracked screens, and you made do with what you could find.
I can kind of relate. It's like being on a war-torn battlefield. I mean, you find a few chipped and bloodied knives, but you make the most of it. You play with the toys they give you.
By the way, as you say that, you see Firaxis pop on the screen with a question mark. The AI is doing it.
Ah, the AI is doing it. And I say,
as if asking, didn't you grow up here?
Oh yeah, I grew up there. My point still stands.
I mean, the difference between Kuzon like shrugs and gives you I literally grew up in a hole, and then you grew. What do you mean? Didn't you grow up in like a castle or something?
I mean, yeah, but you saw that half of Fraxus is covered in snow and giant mantis-like creatures, right?
Sure.
I went on my first hunt when I was free. I mean, sure, Dad was with me, but that didn't stop him from hurling me from a cliff about 200 meters.
Small flashback. Time to fly, son.
It was basically that moment from Tekken everybody keeps memeing.
Just and then you see is like in the background.
In hindsight,
swooping in to help you.
In hindsight, I'm surprised that I managed to survive that long among dragons. But anyway, I digress. This isn't about me or Fraxus. This is about Akiton and you, Kuzon. Because nothing is more important than family, and you should always confront your family. Isn't that right, Prava and Kuzon?
Absolutely, yes, I agree 100%.
I love that dynamic, just Prava being so like, hee.
Yeah, Aiden saying something, Prava agreeing with it genuinely, but Kuzon knowing what this is about.
I know exactly what this is about. But as you do fly on into the crater, you see the old metro tunnels entrance open up. You can see new brickwork has been put up since then to protect the layers of machinery. And as you fly your ship in, just under a few scrap cars going back and forth collecting stuff, and as you fly on in with your beautifully shiny ship in comparison, you can see people in the docking area looking up at the ship like, oh my god, they have never seen anything so resplendent and large before.
Kuzon, should we have thrown some dirt at the ship or something? Everybody's looking at us weird.
Well, you were just in a light dust storm, but even then, your ship stands out like a sore thumb.
I mean, the fact that our hull is air sealed is probably pretty impressive to these folks.
Kuzon, where the fuck did you bring us?
Welcome to the underbelly of Akiton, boys.
You can see just people crowding around, going around like, oh my god, what?
I like it. It's super cozy.
Should I be worried that somebody's gonna try to pickpocket me?
Yes.
Okay.
Kuzon looks at you very plainly.
Just brutally honest. Yes.
Hopefully, if this time it happens, it won't be Gravi.
I'm gonna put my credits into a slot in my metal arm and hope they don't try to take my metal arm.
Should I try to stick them in my sock or something?
No, the little ones know to look for the socks first.
So, mind you, as you do look out, also, you have never seen so many Ishkedi just going about their business. Like, you've seen some on Absalom now and again, of course, and you've seen some in other stations, but there's just lots of them of all varying colors. Some of them are like yellow, some of them are reds like Kuzon, others, but they're all different shades almost. Like, you can see that each sort of shade is sticking together almost like a family unit. Like, they have small variations, but mainly they're the same. There's also Ishkedi with pronounced horns and spines down their shoulders.
Yeah, and you probably noticed that like Kuzon's like a head shorter than any adult Ishkedi.
Oh yeah, while he counts as small, he is at least like a foot smaller than your normal Ishkedi, which normally goes up to like your stomach. Kuzon goes up about to your hips.
Kuzon, did you give yourself up too young?
Just a shrimp.
So you have parked, and essentially you already see some like people like some Ishkedi like climbing up your ship, and almost like trying to wave at the cameras as they're holding up cloths.
I'm gonna like rush out the side of the ship, and I'm just barking in Ishkedi and like, no cleaning. I'm not paying for cleaning.
Set it clean. You can afford clean.
It is already clean.
Explain to me how Ishkedi also sounds, because I'm wondering about your take on it. Is it like growling, barking, like like that?
I do something like that, yeah.
Just short sentences that sound sort of simple, but are much more pronounced with another Ishkedian. It's like, why? You can afford to a ship.
It's like, I'm only one that touches ship.
It's like they hit, it's like they start wandering off. Like,
Kuzon, they
calm
clearly
down.
need work. You gotta give them a job.
No, you
You know what I would imagine?
can't.
It's like the exaggerated Mexican stuff. Puta!
That's actually
like-
that's what it is.
It's like you'll get indebted for every nickel in your pocket if you humor people who do that here. Trust me, Prava. I'm worried about you and our funds.
You know what, Kuzon? This place is starting to warm up on me. I kinda like it.
I'm gonna. I guess I imagine I made a scene and now everybody's staring at me.
Oh, there's some people looking, but they're wondering. It's like, oh, that must be the captain. Yeah, a little short, isn't he? Like, you see some like humans going about, like looking over. A little short. He's all right. He's got a ship that big. But militia, they vary between area to area in Booster City. Like, there's some areas which are controlled by one section of militia. They're very much kind of, if you think gangs, essentially gangs that are keeping order. Because the real cops and stuff don't come this down below Booster City. They're all worried about the higher reaches.
That makes sense, yeah.
These people seem to be well put together, actually. It is in the general area that you were, and what you remember of militia, while they can be a little rough, they are generally okay guys.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the saving graces that you had when you were growing up here.
I'll pull it out. So is the place isn't like large enough to justify like the car or anything, right? It's just like
You can take the car if you wish, but it'll take around about 10 minutes to get to where you need to on foot.
Yeah, so
Since
we'll
your
walk.
colony was based close to it anyway.
Yeah, we won't but I'll be inspecting all of this stuff. You'll see kind of like despite Kuzon's like hesitation now that he's back, his eyes are kind of like wandering on like some on the architecture and stuff like that. you see like Kuzon's like he notes like, oh, that's new.
So you used to walk through here all the time? Is this like your main drag, your main street?
Well, I had to. It's like one of my jobs was I had to sell all the scrap to a business that was right there, and then I point in that direction. And it's like I had to. It's like I had to talk to Rex over that direction. He was the guy that had the spark plugs. He was the spark plugs guy. And Kuzon just kind of like goes on like this, like talking about how he was constant. Basically, he was one of his jobs was he was an errand boy. He was constantly running scrap from one person to another.
Yeah, you do see like several stores are set up. Some are actually built into a wall with actual doors and an actual like shutter and stuff. Others are just stores that are set up in the middle of nowhere, which have bits and pieces, bits of lenses, glass, stuff like that. And you do see like a youngerish Kenny and some younger humans basically running back and collecting items and swapping them back and forth. Yeah, where you're going, essentially you do have a warren of your own, though the intercity warren is much more, well, it's much more advanced. For instance, your warren has a proper iron gate in front of it. It has like a proper guards standing at the gate, making sure to watch over it. It's just that you've dug in out of the metro and inside where your warren is, where the underground warren is. Out in the wastes, you would have like a proper village where the warren is underneath the village. But this works about the same. As you're slowly going across the tunnels of metro, you do see like some SK standing outside the door, and some of, well, they look almost exactly like you, so you can immediately tell they are your people. There's some outside like going through scrap hoards that they've gathered, wondering what to sell.
Kuzon just got when he sees them, you just see like his feet just go like stiff, and he just kind of like stops for a moment, kind of like awkwardly shuffling, like he's like cupping his metal arm and his regular arm, and just kind of like sitting there like very quietly, just like rocking on the heels of his feet, trying to like think of what to say.
Hello, my name's Prava. My friend is here to visit some family.
Ah, you want deals, yes?
Wait, deals? Sure. What kind of
We're not doing trade today.
Ah, I see. No trade. It's like the guy stops. He's at least a foot taller than you, Kuzon, and he stops in his tracks as he looks at you. Like, like almost shocked to see one of his people outside. You can almost tell that the guy you've been talking to is almost exactly like Kuzon. His snout is a little more elongated, sure, but he's got the same kind of small spikes on him, the same general features, and exactly the same color tint.
Hey, he kind of like Kuzon just kind of like taps his fingers together. It's like, I'm looking for my kids.
Oh, I see. Yes, well, they've been Broodminder. Did you bring back things for colony?
I have things that colony might be able to use, but that's not why I'm here.
Oh, just here to see kids. I see. Very strange. Not normal, but it can be done. It's like, let us speak to God. It's like, they wish to go through. And you hear, what's his name?
Kuzon.
And you see for a moment, like, almost realization come over the guard's face. You know that these guards, well, the warriors of your clan and of a warren, they're meant to know the dishonored.
Yeah.
And you see them like almost like not readying their weapons, but they hoist them up a bit. It's like, you cannot come in. Do not allow.
What do you mean? He's here to see his family.
He has no family. He's dead.
But he's right here, and they reached out to us.
I mean, when he says he's dead, I said he got better. I did.
He is not one of us anymore. Does not belong.
Well,
You
is
leave
there
now.
is there any way he can gain access? Can he prove himself?
By the way, would all of you roll me perception, please?
By the way, at some point after we left the ship, because I kind of want the AI with us, so can I take her like on a zip stick or something? Can I upload her to my personal comm device?
Oh yeah, you can.
I'm gonna whisper. See, this is why you should never have a family. It's way too complicated. Never have family.
Don't tell her that, you monster.
You see like a picture of a literal ship, the Key Leon, and a little heart. She still loves her family. But
Bad influence.
Aiden's the bad influence uncle that you don't invite round unless it's a holiday.
And unfortunately, he lives with our sweet child.
As you're looking around, those of you that have got over a 20, Prava, you're probably looking at people thinking, oh, little bastards. And you do see a bar just down the way. You see like a figure waving like to you. Their cloak like bellowing in the thing as they're waving to you. They're small, hence why you could hardly see them, but they are trying to catch your attention. As they are pointing towards you and gesturing over. It seems like they're standing in front of what appears to be a bar.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just kind of like tap Prava and be like, yeah, let's not bother the poor guards. Here, follow me. I know where to go. I'll just whisper.
Okay. Probably just kind of follows him, takes his word on it.
I'm gonna, because I noticed that as well, I'm gonna look towards the guys for the nice entry. I'm gonna just say, you got us, you win. You're the best guards ever. Nobody can compete with you.
I got. You know what I'm going to ask you, right? You got to roll bluff for me.
Oh, well, believe it or not, but I'm actually proficient in that. Here you go.
So you're like, yeah, oh, you got us, and they're like, yeah, go away.
Yep,
It's not
you got
not
us.
belong here.
And then as we're walking away,
You and your human slave. Shoo.
And then as we're walking away, I'm gonna turn towards Kuzon and say, dude, I love dealing with your people. This place is awesome. They believe all the shit I tell them. That never happens to me on any other planet.
Kuzon like shrugs and it's like, those guys are just soft-headed. There are some people here that you wouldn't be able to. You can't slip anything by.
You do know that your clan is very much a tradition-based clan. Despite living in the, well, Booster City, they hardly have any technology within the Warren. Not really, of course. They have climate control and stuff, sure, but nothing like TVs. Barbarians.
God,
Yeah,
how can you live
this
without
is a place where Prava isn't popular.
Exactly. They don't know your face.
Yeah, I'll follow them towards the bar.
Okay then. As you go towards the bar, eventually you enter and you see like people like enjoying themselves, going about their business. It's much less a bar and more of like a dive. You know, you have tables for eating, relaxing. People are just smoking it up inside. And you see that cloaked little figure. He's almost like he's smaller than you, Kuzon, as he's like going towards like the bar stool.
Yeah, this is one of the few times that Kuzon has to kneel in order to make eye contact with somebody.
Oh, he is climbing the stool. at this moment. You just see his like claws. You see the red claws like dig into it. It climbs up.
I'll hop on the bar stool.
As you do, he's like almost kneeling because he knows if he sits down he'll be shorter than everybody else as well. And as you do, you see this figure, and it's almost like looking into a younger mirror, but this one is, well, happy, unlike you were in your childhood.
I love him.
He's like, Kuzon, yes?
Yeah. It's good to see you.
He's like,
did any? I guess my question, because I forgot to ask, did any of them introduce themselves in particular, or was it like a?
oh, this is the only one around. This is the only one that crawled up in the thing.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
There's only this one. And as you see his like tail waving back and forth, and he actually reaches out to try grabbing your hand and shaking it. It's like, I'm glad to meet you. I've heard about you.
I'll return the shake and be like, well, somebody here is happy to see me.
Oh yes, those are idiots. He talks much more normally and common than the others do. And as his tail waving around, you can actually see like almost a silver spike on it as well. He's like, yeah, I'm one who contacted you.
Well, I'm sorry, did he... I don't remember, did he give me his name when he contacted me?
No, he did not. He seems overly excited, almost like a child on caffeine.
Yeah. It's like I can't mistake you for anybody other than who you say you are. The resemblance is uncanny, but I don't think you've ever told me what your name was.
Oh, right. My name was Razor, but I am Razon now.
Razon. That's a good name.
Yes.
It has a ring to it.
I decided to change it from ending from mother's name to your name.
Oh, that mother probably didn't like that, did she?
Oh, she's around Booster City. I do not think she agrees, but it does not matter. I am my own Nishkari.
How old is he? Is he like younger than 10?
He is younger than 10, yes.
Probably
he is
like just
pretty,
6.
Yeah, he is pretty young. In fact, he probably shouldn't be out here. Normally they're in the Warrens. And
Yeah.
he actually does seem small for his age. Like, normally they're about your size when they're getting around 10 years old.
I guess I'd like scratch my hands. Like, why are you sneaking around out of the Warrens?
Oh, they don't let me do anything. They think I'm too young to do anything. I followed in your footsteps.
Kuzon kind of like Kuzon like shakes. It's like scratches his head awkwardly, like, oh, I've turned into the parent that scolds the kid for the things he do at his age.
Yeah, and it's like, I only changed my name after I saw you. You were amazing. You bowed on Viadari.
Yeah, I piloted the big walker.
It was amazing.
I'd like you to little Razon. I'd like you to meet my friends. They've been looking after me while I've been away. Prava, this is Aiden.
Hi.
It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I followed your exploits as well.
This whole time they've been talking, Prava was standing just like they're on different stools, and Prava was standing like not directly between the stools, but just like a step back from being directly between, and he's been waiting to be introduced. It's like
he's like looking up towards Prava. He's like, yes, it's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Your dad right here, best mechanic in the galaxy, probably.
Yep,
Saves
that's a good
my
job.
life
That's
on
for
a
sure.
daily basis. has never made a mistake.
Oh no, he makes plenty of mistakes, but he's still the best mechanic ever.
Mistakes are where we learn. Yes?
Yes.
Well, that's what book said,
Yes.
anyway.
Look at that,
I mean-
Kuzon. You raised a reader.
I made plenty of things. You see, I am small for my... Well, I am small for my age. I have much smaller
Yeah.
claws than siblings.
Kuzon just kind of like shrugs and is like, you inherited that from your pops.
Yes, but do not worry. I learned this from Mother while trying to talk to her about you. So I made my own claws. And he brings out his arms from his cloak, and he gestures a little, and you just see an arm blade come out from a device, like...
Ooh. Kuzon like immediately like he stops being awkward and he just like not like grabs it, but he kind of like puts his hands on it and like inspects it, and it's like, what did you have to tear apart to get the alloy for these bad boys?
Yes. Could not find it in, well, out there in junk piles, so I had to take apart small vehicles someone left behind. It's okay, they won't miss. Blade might have star metal. Made sure that there was a small port. It was from the window cleaner. It makes sure that I can coat it in stuff.
Kuzon just kind of like nods in approval, and it's like, do you know how hard it was for me to get star metal when I was a kid? Spoiled this generation.
True. You did not try stealing directly from Car, though.
You're right.
Car doors. Extremely strange that it has so much star metal in.
So what are the rest of your siblings? How are they doing?
Oh, right. That is one thing I wish to talk about. That is why I called Mother, too.
Oh, wait. You called her?
Yeah, I told you. She in Booster right now.
Look at that, Kuzon. It's perfect. Ready for a full family reunion. Get to meet your son, your first love.
He's like all smiling and he's looking towards Aiden. It's like, I also have this. And he's like, gestures to his other hand. It looks like almost like he's taken like a small rifle and attached it to the bottom side of his arm. Not inside of his skin, of course, but it's strapped to his arm. It's like not as good as your rifle, but still, powerful single shot weapon.
That is very dangerous, and I approve.
You seem
Glad
to
you
have
approve. Mother does not.
You seem to have taken a lot of inspiration from our, well, recent escapades, huh?
Yes, I have to admit, I have taken lots of inspiration. It was hard being so small, but I've learned. I learned from all of you. I must make my own tooth and claw in order to survive. So I have.
Yeah. Making the most out of a bad situation. Kuzon, he really is such a off the old block.
I'm kind of Kuzon like smiles, and it's like I mean, you see that he's kind of like he's like somewhere he's like you can tell he's getting like a little bit he's having a hard time like saying anything. He's like muttering a bit. You can tell he's getting like a little bit like, oh, a little bit emotional. He just doesn't want to say anything. These are feelings that he doesn't know how to deal with.
Oh, by the way, speaking of which, you probably didn't see it, or maybe you have. Honestly, I don't know what made it out of that ship, but you should listen to some of the recordings of Kuzon when he was given full control of the ship, just lording his massive ego over everybody else.
Yes, it was the same when he was in mech. Humorous.
It's amazing how such a small guy can have such a big head sometimes, you know?
I will have to admit, it was a little hard being your child at first. Many of the other younger ones, once they heard that we were part of, well, our father was still alive, But as we grew, we stuck together strong. Even me.
That's good. Kuzon kind of scratches his head like awkwardly, and you see like scars like on his chin and stuff like that. And he's like scratching his head. It's like you should look after your siblings.
Oh, I am. That is why I called you and Mother. Cannot do alone.
Well, last time I spoke to your mother, because it's like she beat me within an inch of my life.
Oh, it is fine. I am here. I am sure she won't do it while I'm here. Maybe. This is why your friend's here. They make sure that won't happen.
Oh no! I'm here to watch.
Well, Prava is heaven.
This is going to be a beautiful, touching reunion for everyone involved.
I mean, you guys should know that Kuzon's not Kuzon's not romantically invested in this woman. Probably I never had been.
That's why, by the way, when Prava says that, Aiden says, oh, that's his way of saying that he's not getting involved either. Also, what do you mean you're not romantically involved? Kuzon, didn't you sleep with this woman?
Ishkedi are strictly utilitarian when it comes to that.
So you're saying is that any woman would have done, and you're just a player?
No, Ishkeli society is much barbarian. This is why I fell out of with it.
Kid, find a woman you like, preferably one that's not gonna kill you. Best advice everybody's ever gonna give you. Take it from somebody who has very rotten luck with women in his life.
Understood.
Haven't all your girlfriends beaten the tar out of you?
Yes, that's why I'm telling you. Find better women.
By the way, as you said that, you see Raison basically hold up his communicator a bit confusedly, and that's weird. There it is. Yeah, he holds it up a bit confusedly, and he goes, "Oh, Mother is on her way. Perhaps you should prepare yourself." And with that, we're going to take a small break.
And then he's gonna look towards Kuzon and say, you wanna go to the bathroom real quick, or do you want to maybe take a few shots of whiskey? Should we booby trap the entire area and set up some auto turrets?
I'll try. And you see Kuzon swallow fearfully, try using my words.
Oh, Aiden's gonna put an arm on his shoulder and say, that's the spirit, man. Then he's gonna look towards Prava and say, oh my god, he's so dead.
Right, I'll be right back. I need to do something. Take a small break while we get ready for the encounter. But right then. So, as you spent about 30 minutes in the bar, probably drinking a little.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much implied that you shouldn't fucking drink anything here, so the quality is questionable, the prices are questionable, so I think I'm good.
Well, Raison seems to be having at least a small meal there. You just see him.
I'm gonna take out my flask that's probably filled with whiskey and say, hey, here kid, have a sippy. Turns you into a man. Kuzon handles his liquor like a man.
I am smarter than most of my other race. I think I'm fine. I do not need my growth to be stunted even more.
Oh hey, Kuzon, is that why you're such a short stack? Did you drink too much when you were young? Mistakes of the youth.
Oh, might have been my diet.
He's very sensitive sometimes, isn't he? Raison just bluntly says it as he looks towards you, Kuzon.
Yeah, he just kind of says what's on his mind sometimes without thinking about how it'll make people feel.
Just a down of no feel. I think he means it in good spirit.
Hey, besides, it helped you stop thinking about meeting your wife and how she's probably gonna try to murder you again on sight, right? So I'd say it helped. Oh, well, I guess...
Faced into the bar.
Douche.
His hand, he's has his face like mashed into the bar as his hands like hang limply below him.
I'm gonna pat him on the back. There, Kuzon. It can't be that bad. After all, you met Ellie. You can do worse. At least your girl is not a green dragon, you know.
I can't.
Well, as you say this, somebody walks into the bar at that point. Esna.
It's just Kuzon has his hands like folded in front of his face, and he just he's using his mental communication thing or his earpiece thing. My spell, like, Prava, she's looking at me. She there.
She is looking at him.
She is, yeah, but Kuzon, take a look back at her. She's really pretty.
Never mind her looks, Kuzon. How the hell did you climb up that thing? She's like 3 times larger than you. How the fuck did you nail that?
Aiden! I pointed my kid. Shut up! And then Kuzon like all smiles and like wheels around in his chains like, hey, long time no see.
You can see it like almost Cody regards you for a minute. It's like, Kuzon? And then towards Raison for a minute and goes, you didn't tell me he was here. Yeah, if I told you if either of you were here, you wouldn't have come. He's just smiling away and numbing on his food. Like,
you gotta say it for old Raison here. He's cunning.
yes, he is. As is expected of a proper upbringing. Yeah, proper upbringing. Raison mumbles a little bit at that. Anyway, what are you doing here? I thought you were never to return.
He's doing fine, thanks for asking.
Kuzon just is like clacking his stuff together. It's like, well, I've unintentionally made the news, and it didn't seem right that if one of my kids wanted to see me, that I ignore them.
Well, you should have thought harder about that. Now the others are gonna know. It's gonna cause trouble for not only me, but the rest of the kids. Where are they anyway? Oh yes, forgot to tell. They are no longer in Booster City.
What?
Yeah, thought I'd break it ice to you when you two were together. You see Enza like a bit of like, what? Too? Like almost exactly the same time as you. They are not very good at having bad news spoken to them, are they? He like looks up towards Prava and Aiden.
What happened to them? Did they get into trouble?
Well, yes, no, maybe. To be honest, I don't exactly know. You see, there are some people from, what was it again? I believe, there we go, I remember now. Gantim. And you see Esna, like, freeze up for a moment, almost as deer in headlights, so to speak. Yes, there are these people there coming here to trade. And, well, everybody knows the rumors about Gantim. Well, you may not, Dad. Would you like to know?
What? Who's that?
Gantim is a small village up to the north. Well, you see, it started off as a small camp. A bunch of adolescent Eshkeri, as we do. But the thing is, they have seemingly found a way to stave off the rot.
Oh.
And, well, once they once they came here, the others found their chance. As we said, we really only had us here in this city. While the clan didn't kick us out, we were much welcome among our own family. So when the opportunity arose, the others decided to go against him. They said they were going to contact me once they get there. However, I have not heard from a single thing from them in months.
How many? I guess let's confirm. How many siblings are there? Like, how many kids do I have?
5 more. Yes, your crush was on a bigger side.
I don't like the sound of that.
Yes, well, it would be strange for 1 or 2 not to contact me. Well, all 5 of them not deciding to contact me is strange, to say the least.
I'll like pull out my I'm gonna pull it like on my robotic arm. I have my communicator, and I'm gonna bring up, and basically I'm just gonna bring up a map, like a holographic map there, and just ask him. It's like, where are they? Or where's Gantim?
One moment, I will point out. And he basically he brings it over to the map, and he points this way.
Is that the Winterlands? So they're right at the border of the Winterlands.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't your species' entire thing, Kuzon, that they like the heat? What the hell are they doing over there?
Maybe it's something to do with the climate. The lower metabolism helps them with their plans to stave off the rust.
Well, I could agree with you. And he's still smiling, by the way, almost like the cat that caught the canary at that point. And he goes, well, you've been saying that. Mother be awfully quiet. You can see that she is clearly having trouble with hearing this, and you just hear you, under a breath for a moment going, the fruit.
The what?
There's this certain fruit from there. You see, she gives a small sigh and then points to his Razor and gestures away from them. And Razor looks around, points to himself, and then gives a small normal adolescent fine, and then skitters off for a second. Esna then goes, well, I guess I have to be truthful. There was something from Gantim that I ate before, the whole.
Kuzon physically flinches and he thinks about it.
Well, I didn't kill you. And I think it was due to that fruit.
Oh. Kuzon just kind of Kuzon just kind of he kind of goes sullen for a moment, and here I thought you had some sort of weird destiny or something like that, but it was a fruit.
Well, I guess I have a tree to thank. Esna, thank you for sparing my friend Kuzon. I wouldn't be alive today without him, in more ways than one.
Well, I guess I can't refuse your help. I can't exactly go myself, and as soon as she's about to say that, you will hear his Razor go, perfect! Now we have everybody on board. We do have everybody on board, right? He looks towards Aiden and Prava.
That's what we're here for.
You're a natural. This is the best fait accompli I've ever seen.
Thank you very much.
Kuzon, I don't know how I feel about your kid being manipulative like Prava.
Kuzon kind of just under it's yeah, he's a bit of a he's a little devious mastermind who I'm sure will go to orchestrate many incredible schemes in the future.
I have to be honest, he's a far more confident young version of you.
Kuzon shrugs and he's just well, he had one advantage. He didn't. He's kind of like scratching his head, and it's like he didn't have a father in his life to fuck it up. And I'm gonna hop off the stool. Kuzon kind of like kneels down next to like stands next to Raison, kneels down, and it's like will help you guys in any way I can. If you need money or anything, I can help. But I'm not a very good role model.
That is fine. Not many people are.
No offense, Kuzon, but your family is pretty complicated and weird.
Says the human brought up by dragons.
Exactly. By the way,
Yeah, Raison said that. Anyway, I will be able to give you support, Lesnar says. I'll be able to drop supplies or whatever you need once you get there. I have a fighter of my own.
Are you a pilot?
That's correct.
And it's kind of like tapping his thing, and it's like you got a real genuine career. I after getting off Akitan, I spent a long time just being mining asteroid belts, but eventually I found the remains of this baby, and I like tap on the side of the ship, and I brought it back to working order, and well, became a scrapper, as I was always destined to be.
Well, I am technically a technical officer on the starship Hailzon. While I do have talent flying ships, I think you have done well enough.
You see like Kuzon's like face go to awkward smile. It's like, thank you.
You know, you two would be a pretty good team, you know? Ace tactical officer, ace science officer. You can fly a ship, you can build a ship.
I thought Kuzon was your engineer.
I mean, I'm a man of many disciplines.
Yeah, he's got many skills.
You know, considering you're trying to one-up her, Kuzon, I don't know why you didn't mention that you're traveling with the best pilot in the galaxy.
Kuzon just like Kuzon just like pitches the bridge of his nose, and I'll hand Esda my communication details and let her know that we're gonna head out towards Gantum.
So, as you're basically about to leave the bar, as you're going to go back to your ship, you hear Esna say, Kuzon, well, I don't like the fact that I went against my nature that day. That does not mean I regret you living.
Thank you. He's kind of like, he's genuine, but it's like, he doesn't know how to respond. It's like, that's probably the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
And with that, you see her go into a comms unit, probably contacting her ship as Raison, like, basically skitters alongside everybody towards the ship. And I suspect, as you said, you give him like a booster seat inside the command room.
Yeah. I'll just be like, it's very important that you don't press anything.
Understood. By the way, does this become a family heirloom?
This ship?
Yes.
What
if it be passed down to me?
The ship's got a pretty complicated claim. I think the Benefactor would have something to say about what happens to it when it goes.
Oh, that guy.
I mean,
I'm sure he doesn't care.
Aren't we doing like a basically rent to own situation with the Benefactor? Like we're paying
essentially
off what we owe on the ship to him.
Yeah, when you're doing jobs, you're essentially basically paying to keep the ship.
By the way, kid, you seem to be pretty well informed. How long have you been following your dad's escapades?
Oh, I believe since... I believe they started just before Viadari.
I've been trying to keep a low profile. You seem like you're smart enough to know why.
Oh, don't worry, I won't say anything.
But some of us have a social media presence, and I guess it was bound to come out eventually.
Avar, yes.
Looking at Prava.
I mean, only good things have come out of it so far. We've been able to reach so many more people.
And when you say that, then Aiden gives you the stink eye as well.
But yeah, I'll like sit him next to me and I'll show him how I start up the ship and everything like that. Like I'll like walk him through the usual stuff I do on the bridge before the ship starts and everything like that.
He's like looking at it in a great interest. He's like, "You may want to stop flying. Others Kitty are climbing on the ship."
I'm just gonna like pound the horn.
You just see, it's almost like scaring away a flock of birds. As soon as you do that, you just see some of them like hop straight off, like wah, wah,
And yeah, we'll head
I'm
out.
gonna punch
so
it.
Oh my god.
So you're immediately not even going to be careful about getting outside, are you?
Nope, battle roll.
You just do a backwards drift out, like.
You see,
I
now
like
that's how you do it. You just punch on the speed, do a battle roll to avoid any, collateral damage, and you just zip right on out of there. You gotta pilot with your gut feeling.
You see like a little wireframe ship basically doing a barrel roll.
That's the way. Alright, did everybody put on seatbelts? I forgot to mention that part.
What
yeah,
did you say, Prava?
I double fastened Ray's on seatbelts. I gave him like the seatbelts you do when you're preparing for a crash landing.
I'm not sure I need these.
You might.
Best pilot in the galaxy.